2010 Ultimate Builder Custom Bike Show in Seattle, Washington. We're talking with Juston Rouse of RoosteR Custom Cycles. Let's take a minute and give us your background, please, Juston.
My background is growing up as a kid. I grew up in an equipment manufacturing company family, so I've been building things since I was a really young age. Recently got into the motorcycle stuff, as you can see here. Pretty much why I did it is because I love to build things and I love riding.
Let's start from the beginning. What were you trying to accomplish with this build?
What I was trying to accomplish with this build is the other part of our company is the Perse Performance part line. And as far as parts go, I was really trying to accomplish building this bike around the front end that I designed here. This front end is the what we call the new school vintage front end. And I was really trying to accomplish a vintage look with you know, a lot of newer engineering put into it, up-to-date shocks, things like that. Some of the stuff that the newer Springers are still short of.
What was your vision for the bike?
My vision for the bike really is when I walked out of my buddy's apartment, his girlfriend Schwinn was sitting out there, and I really pictured it the whole time that I was building this bike. We widened out the front end, but a lot of that came from the original bicycles, the Schwinn bikes.
I see. What was your inspiration? Was it the Schwinn bike again?
Yeah, it was the Schwinn bike, as well as wanting to, when I saw that front end, build one for a motorcycle, and then develop the bike, the rest of the bike around what looked good with the front end for that new school vintage part line that we're coming out with at Perse Performance.
Tell us about the fabrication on the bike.
The fabrication on the bike is all 304 stainless steel tubing. It's all bent and TIG welded together, polished. A lot of work that goes into polishing a stainless steel frame like that. It looks beautiful when it's done, but a lot of work.
And no matter how often you polish it, it still looks like it needs to be polished again with the micro scratches.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, you're going to constantly be polishing a bike like this to keep it, but you know, they're meant to ride. They're not always meant to be polished.
Tell us about the engine.
This engine is the Alt Gen style 93 cubic inch pan from S&S. And then we took that and we put on our copper covers and copper coated the cam cover down below on this side of the bike over here. The thing we're trying to accomplish there once again was to sell those through our new school vintage line at Perse Performance.
Now you also have a Baker transmission and you copper coated some of that too, right?
Yeah, we did the top trap door on the Baker transmission. We copper coated that just to try to tie it into the rest of the bike. Bert and his team at Baker, they really do a good job. There's not much you really have to do to any of their stuff to make it look great. And it also is looks good, but it's really functional. Night and day difference between that and a stock transmission.
And you're talking about the front end. Let's go a little bit more on that front end. Now this is a new front end that you all are developing and selling now, correct?
Yeah, we're it's now on the market. It's available for sale. We offer it with the headlight, without the headlight. There's several different options. You can get it with fender mounts. You can get it without fender mounts. There's always a strap for the brakes to be mounted to it. We can set that up for many different size wheels. Everything can be custom curtailed to the bike. We also offer it for a Sportster. So just the stock Harley Davidson Sportster, we can put it on.
All right, let's look at the back end. What have you done on that?
The back end is it's a rigid bike, rigid frame. So what we did is we incorporated the Penske shock that we're using into our front end. We took that and we put the same body and shock with a lighter spring underneath of the seat, so that the hardtail will ride like a soft tail. You know, if you're going to have a rigid ride, sometimes people like to have it easy on their back. So we put that in there. And then we kind of Frenched this taillight in here, this old school taillight. It's copper coated, antiqued, so it gives it a really nice look. It's not too bright. And we just kind of Frenched that into the fender. We put a nice little ridge on the fender back here just to tie in all the nice lines on the bike.
Let's talk about paint. What did you do on the paint?
The paint. I have a very good painter that I let him kind of choose the direction he goes. I told him that I wanted it to have a root beer kind of appeal to it. So what he came up with is this PPG paint here that has a copper flake in it, and it's a really dark copper flake, and the copper flake on the light will turn from copper to green. And then we have a pinstriper that he takes care of his business, and I really like the Von Dutch style that he has, so we stick with that on a lot of our bikes, and we did the same thing here. Just a nice classic clean look.
What companies were instrumental in finishing the bike, or was this basically all your company?
The companies that were instrumental in getting this bike done would definitely be the RoosteR Custom Cycles, River City Helicopters. Jack Scanlon's company is the one that did the paint. The painter is actually Chris Ledgerwood, that did the beautiful work on it and the body work. And other than that, Mechlek metal finishing for all the copper and things that we did. But really working with Penske's engineers was the biggest thing to develop the front end shock, and then we just took that shock and stuck it on the back end.
Is there anybody else you'd like to thank?
I'd like to thank all the people who have invested in RoosteR Custom Cycles, and we hope to make you happy out here today.
For more information, I assume you have a website?
Yeah, for information on the bikes, you go to www.roostercustomcycles.com, and for the parts line, you can go to the same website, and there's a link over to the perseperformance.com. So same thing, just perseperformance.com if you want parts.
Thank you, Justin.
Thank you.